For a little fantasy football, we got our guy D Nasty back. Dave, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. I'm still a little down after the loss, though, this past week. It was a little tough to watch that game yesterday. So that holding penalty at the end really cost them, but that was the only thing that cost them in that game, though. They need to start stepping it up in the first half. I don't know why they can only play one half of football. It's ridiculous.
That's true. I've been getting burned on the Packers myself, and I keep coming back for more. I don't know. I just figured LaFleur's got to have something better up his sleeve. But what do the Packers and the Bears have in common, Dave?
They both almost had the same record, I think.
Yeah, I mean, pretty close. You had your bye, but we both have 2 wins. And it's funny. We lost to Denver too, but we were up 28-3, just blew the game. But it's just like if we could have got that game, we'd be 3-3 for crying out loud. It's like so close.
If we would have won yesterday, we'd have been 3-3.
Yeah, but here we are. It's been a interesting week last week. A lot of buys, but not a lot of craziness. Some very terrible officiating, but that comes with the territory. Did you watch the end of that Colts game by chance?
I did. This is a crazy game. And Watson, another player that's kind of like disappointed this year. He's got to be one of the biggest disappointments of the year. They're just not handling him right, or I don't know what's going on there, but he keeps getting injured now too, and they're just not using him. I'm like, it's just a bad situation there with Cleveland.
Yeah, if you have Watson, I got like 3 other. I have him in my league, and I have like 2 or 3 other quarterbacks. Just I think it's like a defense where you just got to have to rotate them for matchups. Now it's so bad because I think Watson might be out for a while too. It just something smells there. It's like he's probably gonna opt out for shoulder surgery or something weird. He's sure getting paid a lot of money for not doing anything. That's for sure.
Exactly. That's just a bad situation there.
But let's start with bye weeks. I didn't notice any, Dave. What's going on there?
Nothing. There is no bias this week, actually. So, yes, get all the people into your lineup that you can this week. Whoever's not injured, get them into your lineup. No, you don't have to worry about any buys this week, which is kind of nice.
Dude, that is nice. I'm shocked. Why? There's no buys. It's weird. I know that there's always somebody on buy from when it starts to when it ends around week 13, but
there's a lot of them that have later buys, like around weeks 9, 10, and 11 are really bad this year, actually. I don't know why they did that, though, because that's like around fantasy football playoff time. So
it's crunch time. Well, I mean, we'll just have to. It's the NFL. They don't do anything that makes a lot of sense, but they can do it since they have the power. So the only pro football to watch. So here you go. But I mean, to be honest with you, injuries, Dave. I didn't see a lot of them either. I just put like Deshaun Watson's still hurting. Luke Musgrave hurt his ankle, and Gerald Everett hurt his quad. The 2 tight ends there, Musgrave and Everett. But I didn't see much else. What am I missing?
No, that's it. And then the Deshaun Watson injury, like we talked about, he was replaced. And then Bijan Robinson, that was actually a shocker. I have him in like 2 or 3 of my leagues.
He was sick. Or something.
He was like sick, had like a migraine. He said he had headaches. So which was another odd thing, though. It's kind of like the Watson injury. He didn't play the whole game, but then they put him in at the end to kind of try and run out the clock. And I'm like, why would they play him at the end if he didn't play the whole game and he's not feeling well? So that was an odd situation as well. So a lot of defensive injuries this week, but no major really offensive players that were injured this week. One that came back, though, was Saquon Barkley. He had a touchdown this week, so that was kind of nice. But other than that, no really key injuries this week.
Yeah, totally. Well, let's move right into the waiver wire then, Dave. I mean, I have a few. Just Marquez Valdes-Scantling had 3 receptions and a touchdown for KC. I think that he's kind of liked by Mahomes. It's not like there's a lot to like there, but I find that interesting. Mecole Hardman is going to be interesting because if he's available, I think he might even take over for that team. Is it Hardwell or Hardman?
Hardman.
Yeah, Hardman. And I mean, if they guard Kelsey, he's got to throw it somewhere. Of course, nobody's guarding Kelsey. I don't know why. If it was me, the way I play him is I put a safety on top and I sacrifice the rest. It's like if I can stop Kelsey and you beat me, I'll take it. It's like whatever. But it's like the whole ways teams would play the star in basketball. It's like stop Jordan and if the other team beats you, God bless them. But it's take away that, man. Jeez. But that's why I kind of like maybe some of these receivers kind of coming up here. Now, especially now the Jets traded him back to, or the Giants, was it? The Giants traded him back to KC.
No, the Jets had him. The Jets had him.
Oh, right. They play each other this week, so I'm kind of flustered by them. Yeah, you're right. It was the Jets. It's not like I really paid attention to him either. But I have him, and Julio Jones is a speculative pickup for the Eagles too. And I think a deep league, and maybe if you're really needing wide receiver help, he's total boom or bust, and he's not going to be used yet. But just takes one injury for him to be a very key component to there. Devontae Smith's been banged up too, so I kind of like Julio. Now there's 3 quarterbacks here, Dave, and Tyrod Taylor is looking more and more like he might take the reins over for Daniel Jones. I think it's embarrassing that they're paying.
You think so? The big huge contract they paid him just now?
Well, it's what, 160, 4 years, 160. So that's 40 a year. It's not as much as Mahomes makes or anything, but sometimes you just got to, I don't know. But here's another reason. He could be a streamer this week, or they just keep Daniel Jones on the shelf longer. You know, it's like, why stop a good thing? So, I mean, he could be someone that fills in for a bye week next week. And PJ Walker, it's just for what I said about Deshaun Watson, could be in there for a while. And Dave, I was optimistic about this kid, Tyson Bagent. And I mean, Fields has the broken thumb dislocated. I don't see why rush him back. Let's see what this kid's got, man. And now I know Fields is supposed to be the man, but I think that we have a different GM, the one that didn't draft him, and Ryan Poles. He'd be pretty quick to shift off him. You know, I think that could happen. I would say he's a speculative ad, and right now I'd say he's just as best as a second string quarterback. I'm not getting overexcited, but I do like what I saw, and he won a lot back in Division III football, Dave.
Yeah, I liked him a lot too. Actually, it's funny too because the Chicago Sports Radio today was talking about how he's the next coming there and like how he's going to replace Fields. But I think they're getting way ahead of themselves. Anytime a quarterback has a good or bad game, they always overhype it. But
what station was that?
It was one of my guys at work said he was listening to it on the way up from Illinois. So I don't know what station it was.
Could have been the Score, maybe ESPN 1000, but I don't think anyone's that crazy yet. But there's a few out there. Yeah, I'm not.
People were calling in and saying, that they want him starting like instead of.
Well, here's the thing. I want to see what he's got now because we're 2-4. We're not 3-3. We're so close to being 3-3. Obviously, if that Denver win. But here's the thing. It's like if he won a game, let him win the next one or lose the next one, then throw Fields in. But if he wins again, let him go. You know, keep him going until he loses. That's the way you do it.
Yeah, and then make sure Fields is completely healthy too. You want him completely healthy. You don't want to rush him back either. So hey, give him another week. I agree. Why not?
All right. I only got 3 other guys. Amari DeMarcado from Arizona had the most carries at 13 until Connor comes back. Dalton Kincaid for the Bills has 8 receptions. And the way the Bills defense looks, they might be throwing the ball a lot over the next few weeks. And then I like Jackson Smith in the Jigba a little bit, 4 receptions and a touchdown. He was a pretty good thought, but being that there's so few injuries, there's not a lot of waivers for me, Dave.
Yeah, there's actually 2 other injuries that we forgot to mention. One that I'll talk about right now. So Jerome Ford suffered an ankle injury in week 7, did not return. And then DK Metcalf did not play this week as well, with an injury as well. As a lower leg.
Yeah, that was a surprise one, right?
Yeah, I had him in one of my lineups. I didn't change him up quick enough because they didn't really announce that. So that and the Bijan Robinson injury really killed me this week. But my waiver wire pickups are going to be Kyle Murray. He started practicing last week. He could be coming back in the next week or 2. So if you have some buys coming up in the next couple of weeks, Kyle Murray is the guy you want to add to your roster right now. He averages 19 points a game in his fantasy career. So definitely a guy you want to pick up. And they can make a difference down the stretch for you to make the playoffs. Another guy a lot of people aren't starting right now, under 50%, Derek Carr. I know he had his shouting at some of his players last week, but he's thrown for at least 300 yards in week 6 and 7, and he had 183 yards and 2 touchdowns in week 5. So he's been putting up nice fantasy numbers, even though the Saints aren't winning, and he's not putting up big numbers for the Saints. He's putting up big numbers for fantasy, though. So definitely add him to the rosters right now because he could be a league winner for you over the next couple of weeks, and he's got a favorable schedule as well. So he's got the Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings before week 11 bye. So 2 favorable matchups for him. I hate to say Q, but Bears and Vikings both are not good. So both favorable matchups for him that he'll be playing against. So definitely a quarterback you're going to want to add for those bye weeks coming up. Another guy, Darrell Henderson from the Rams. He actually was the lead back this past week, and in a surprise move, Kyron Williams was placed on injury reserve. So Darrell Henderson could be your starting running back for the next 3 weeks, which is very surprising. I didn't think Kyron would be placed on injury reserve, but that injury he has, that ankle injury, must be way worse than they thought. It must be the higher ankle sprain variety. So very sorry to see that for Kyron Williams, but Henderson is definitely a guy you want to add. We talked about Zach Evans last week, but he didn't even play a snap in week 7. It was mostly Royce Freeman, and Darrell Henderson. So Royce Freeman is another guy too. If he's out there, either one of those guys. And then 2 running backs to replace Jerome Ford, depending on how severe his ankle injury is, would be Kareem Hunt and Pierre Strong Jr. Pierre Strong Jr. did get quite a few carries this past week, but Hunt was the main guy with 2 touchdowns as well. So definitely a guy you want to add. Coming on the bye week, some people might have forgot about him, but Chuba Hubbard, you definitely want to add him. Sanders might still be banged up with that shoulder injury, so definitely pick him up if available. And one of your Bears out there, too, you forgot to mention, Deontay Foreman. Ruscon Johnson still wasn't back this past week. Foreman had 3 touchdowns. He would have been a league winner if someone would have, or a week winner if someone would have started him this past week. So definitely a guy you want to add until your Bears back or Johnson is back. And I did have DeMarcado as well and Kincaid as well, too. But another guy, too, is Romeo Dobbs and Jayden Reed. Those guys are good receivers to add if you're looking for a receiver. And Rashid Rice. Although see how the Hardman affects him, but he's been coming on over the last 3-4 weeks. He's been one of the better fantasy wide receivers that's been under the radar. So definitely add him if possible as well.
All right. And Andrew Apostolastis, sorry, I think I said it wrong. Apostolakis. He's got an IDP question. I like IDP questions. Should he start Greenlaw for the Niners or Cameron Bynum for the Vikings?
I'm going Greenlaw all day.
You got to go Greenlaw. Here's the problem, though. Actually, I'm gonna rethink this. I think Bynum might get more tackles on the running back because I think the Niners might be running the whole second half, and the Vikings might be throwing the ball. And so, I mean, it just depends how you want to think about it. I don't think Alexander Madison is going to get a lot of play. So that's a great question.
Yeah, it's a very good question. I definitely always lean towards the linebackers compared to like someone in the secondary, like a safety or a cornerback. Linebackers usually get you the more tackles. So that's why I lean toward Greenlaw still. I think they still try to run the ball with Madison, but either way, it's going to be Bynum is actually a good pick, like you said, because the 49ers will be running the ball because they will probably be up in the second half.
Yeah, and he'll be stunting up from a safety position, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're going to be stacking the box so the 49ers can't run. But you never know. I think Greenlaw still I like his potential to get a sack or a tackle for a loss, too, which could get you more points in the IDP league as well. So I'm going to still lean Greenlaw, though, on that one.
So he traded Evans for Foreman. That's a pretty good trade. Foreman was pretty good this week. Yeah. I don't know how long it's going to last when Khalil Herbert comes back, but Evans, I mean, he didn't do much, right?
Which Evans?
I'm guessing the one that everyone picked up is Zach Evans, right?
Oh, he traded him for Foreman? That's a great pick. That's a great trade.
I don't know if I'm right, but there's Chris Evans too, but I think that's a great trade. Good job, Andrew. Yeah, Zach Evans. So there you go. Awesome trade. Yeah, I scored with the Foreman big time in our Dynasty League, Dave.
That's awesome.
I didn't need him to beat you this week in my league, though. That was pretty.
I know. I saw that.
That was pretty simple. Just have to wait to throw that shot. I got it. All right. And so I wrote some of those down. Those are great ones, Dave. I totally agree with a lot of those. Let's go to non-stars trending up for week 9, Dave. You get started.
All right. I'm going. This is going to be a surprise one, actually, but the Bills really hurting on defense right now. They got a lot of injuries. Both the starting defensive tackles are both out. And they did not look good against the Giants this past week. The Giants were running the ball and throwing at will. So I'm going the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield and Rashad White. I like both of those guys against the Bills. The Bills have been struggling this past couple weeks and have a lot of injuries. Their starting safety, Tre'Davious White, is out as well. So they got 3 starters on their defense that are missing. And then Milano's up for the wheel. So actually 4, 4 starters gone on their defense. So I'm definitely going to say Baker Mayfield and Rashad White against that banged up Bills D. nothing they can do about that. But definitely, I like that matchup. I like the Panthers this week. I like Bryce Young against the Panthers D. I'm sorry, against the Texans D. They struggled in the past. They've been looking better this year, though. They're 3-3, so that actually the team's playing well. But I still like that matchup for Bryce Young. Hopefully, they can get their first win this week. Packers against the poor Vikings defense. I do like Jordan Love, even though he's been struggling in the first half of games, which I still don't understand. I like Dobbs and Watson this week, too, against the Vikings, that poor pass D. Another game I like, Dolphins this week. I like Mostert if he's not being started already. In most leagues he is, but I like him this week. And I also do like their backup as well. So either one of those running backs against the Patriots, I think they played well against Bills this past week, but I don't think that continues. The Jets this week, I like the Jets matchup against the Giants. Zach Wilson, I'm actually starting him against the Giants. He's a guy that's trending up this week against that poor defense. Eagles, I'm actually trending up, non-starter. Julio Jones, he could get some catches against that Commanders D. Commanders D has not looked good. I know they're going to be a good defense this year, but they're not. So I do like that matchup. Gainwell even too, and Swift, I like them against their borderline starters. Probably right now, probably not even starters, but I like them against the Commanders D as well. Their line's been struggling too. And then some of the other ones I like Chiefs. I like Hardman and Rashee Rice. Guys, probably you're not starting right now, but I'd start them against the Broncos. They can definitely go off against them. I like Josh Palmer against the Bears defense. I like that matchup for him. He's a guy that's normally not starting, but he's had 3 straight weeks where he's had nice games. He's had close to 100 yards the last couple of weeks. So if he's in this week, he had over 100 yards. So definitely a matchup I like there. I like the Lions this week. I like Goff against the Raiders. He's borderline starter though, but I like Amon St. Brown too, but he's a starter already too. But definitely the matchup this week. So I'm actually Gibbs is the guy that's probably not a starter but trending up. So Gibbs is the guy I pick for the Lions against that poor Raiders D too.
All right, I like a lot of those. I wrote a lot of those down. Got another question here. What's up, boys? Need a miracle. Down exactly 2.92 in full PPR. Guy has Madison and Niners D. I got Ayuk. What are the odds I can pull off the upset? I think your odds are good because I don't think Madison's going to be a big factor. His over under on yards for his prop is 45. So, think about that. That's not a lot. You're not getting any bonuses with that. He might catch a few passes, but maybe the Niners D can give up 17 to 21 points. Maybe Cousins doesn't throw a pick 6 or something crazy, and Ayuk can ball out without Deebo Samuel. So I think you're looking okay.
I like his chances too. I'd say probably 60-40 at 60 on his end. I like Ayuk. He's one of Purdy's go-to guys as well. Like you said, Deebo's out. Odds are in his favor right now, actually. As long as the 49ers D doesn't go off and have a ton of sacks or a pick, like you said, pick 6, I think he's got a good shot tonight to win, actually. I like you said, Madison, I don't think he gets over 50 to 60 yards. Maybe he has a touchdown, but I like this guy's odds.
I almost took the Madison under rushing prop too. And Andrew agrees. So I like it. All right. Well, let's move on to my non-starters trending up. I have the same thing. I have CJ Stroud versus Carolina. I think he's going to be great coming off the bye. He's borderline starter now, but I just wanted to say him once before he's full-fledged starter here. I think he's going to be good. I think Kyler Murray, if he does come back, could be sneaky. I know they have a tough matchup, but whenever Kyler's in, it's a complete wild card. It don't matter who you're playing. And that would be just really interesting to see him put up some points here against the Ravens, who the Ravens in the past have had some issues. See, Delvin Cook against the Giants, bad defense. He might wake up a little bit. I know Delvin Cook hasn't been exactly a starter, but he could be a flex. I agree with your Rashad White. I don't necessarily agree with Baker Mayfield, though, Dave, because I think he's on the verge of getting benched for Kyle Trask, in my opinion. He is
so really.
I don't know. He's been horrible last couple of
years. He's been steady.
The last 3 weeks. Last 3 weeks has been awful. But we'll see. If you can't beat Atlanta like that at home, it's not looking good. Josh Palmer against the Bears. That's a no-brainer, I think. You guys start Josh Palmer against the Bears. George Pickens might do something against Jacksonville's D. Jacksonville gives up a lot of yards on D. And then Darnell Mooney, I think maybe with the new QB might have a good matchup against the Chargers weak defense that gives up a ton of passing yards. So those are the ones I pretty much have. Maybe Robert Woods against Carolina too, if you want me to partner. I'm a little worried about Tank Dell being a little bit beat up. So I'm concerned about that. Another quick question here. My wide receivers are Lamb. AJ Brown, Pittman, T. Higgins, DJ Moore in London. I have Deontay Johnson on IR. Should I drop Johnson or drop Ingram and keep Johnson? My tight end is Mark Andrews, it looks like. It's a lot right there. I think that Deontay Johnson, he hasn't done that much. What do you think, Dave?
I have Deontay Johnson in a couple of my leagues. I'd wait another week before I make a decision if you can, and your IR allows you to, because he had a decent week this week, but I don't think I would drop Deontay Johnson though. He's definitely the top 20 receiver when he's healthy and when they're clicking there. He had like three catches, I think, for 60 yards this past week, which is not bad.
Wait a minute. What am I thinking? I dropped London.
London. Yeah.
Yeah, I would drop London. I don't know about Ingram right there, but I would drop London for sure. Yes. I mean, you just can't.
That's who I would drop. I wouldn't drop Deontay Johnson. London is the guy out of that group that I would drop as well.
Yeah, they try to run the ball too much with that. So that's my thoughts on that one. But Deontay Johnson is off IR now. He did have a great week. I do remember that. Bus. I have Kenneth Walker versus Cleveland's D. Cleveland's D is just too good against the run, so I'm concerned for Kenneth Walker a little bit. He could bust. And he was the only guy that had 100 yards this week, though. I do want to mention that. Quarterback Jordan Love, Dave. Sorry, man. I think he's and I'm not just talking about this week. He might be benched or dropped for good from your fantasy until it's something else. I would pick up Kenny Pickett right now over Jordan Love. So sorry, my friend.
I don't know about that, but definitely you can tell the youth is definitely affecting them. Like they're all learning. A lot of the receivers, some of the receivers are running the wrong routes this past week. Love's still learning where to throw the ball and like what decisions to make. It's gonna be a long season this year, but it's a learning process, I think, for them all. But in the end, I think they're all going to be better before the end of this year, though, as well.
Right. All right. Another bust. I have Terry McLaurin against the Eagles. I think that's a little dangerous. Sam Howell against the Eagles too. And last time they played the Eagles, they got crushed, and Howell's thrown out tons of picks. Now maybe he fixes it. I always do like the dog, the next matchup here, but
they didn't get crushed. They went into overtime.
No,
it's not a game for them.
Was that Washington versus the Eagles? Maybe I was thinking about the Giants versus the Eagles. Oh, you're right. I was thinking
on him back and like threw a touchdown with like no time left to tie it up. And then they lost like some crazy play in like overtime.
That's right. I was thinking the Giants, but I still don't trust Howell to redo it. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna stand by. I mean, look at what he did last week. It's like, I don't know. He's
up and down, definitely.
Yeah. Maybe I wonder what they did. There was one game that he got crushed in, dude, and it might have been against it was the Bills. Yeah, it was the Bills. He threw like 4 or 5 picks against the Bills. That's what it was. Well, the Bills actually had a defense then. So there you go. Let's move on to the next bust. I actually lost my screen here. Darrell Henderson versus the Cowboys. I know he's a big pickup this week. I just don't like the Cowboys coming off the bye here, and I'm a little bit worried about the Rams going out there. So him and Puka Nacua I have as kind of bust. Marquise Brown versus the Ravens is dangerous start too. I mean, maybe if Kyler Murray's throwing to him, Dobbs is kind of shown what he really is, a backup quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson against the Titans D isn't a great matchup, but the Titans are starting to sell players, and I wonder what kind of message that's going to send. Usually it's either makes them step up or it just makes them completely crumble. I get a feel for that, but Bijan was hurt this week, and so I'm worried about the headaches, I guess, too. Michael Pittman versus the Saints isn't a great matchup either. So I just wanted to say that. That's all the busts I have. Dave, what about yours?
All right. First, I want to say these are the stats from Baker Mayfield for the last 3 weeks. 246 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. 206 yards and an interception, which wasn't good. That was one bad week in there. And then this last week was 275 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. So by no means, he's had one bad game all the last 3 weeks, though. So Just putting that out there.
All right, all right. We have a quick question. Full PPR. Would you trade Laporta and Mostert for Brees Hall? I'm guessing, and Addison.
Yes. Who's on the what is he getting though? Is he getting Brees Hall and Addison?
Yeah. For Sam Laporta and Mostert. Now Mostert's the thing, but he's going to lose a little bit when Achin comes back. He's been fumbling a little bit too.
And Wilson's going to be back here soon too. So yeah, I like Brees Hall. He's actually come on the last couple of weeks, and he's a stud. And he's got that extra gear that a lot of the running backs don't have.
Plus the Jets' schedule gets really easy soon.
Yes. Yeah. And the Jets have been playing better now. Wilson's actually playing decent right now, too. He's not turning over the ball the last couple of games. I like that trade. Addison, too. He's going to definitely get a lot of catches with Jefferson out still. So, yeah, that end of the trade, that's the winning side of that trade.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Do you have any more busts, Dave?
Yeah, I got a few busts here. So I agree with you. I don't like Stafford against the Cowboys. He's not mobile at all. They're just Micah Parsons is going to have a field day with him. Like you said, Puka, I'm definitely down to grading him as well. I don't like Minshew against the Saints or I hate to say it, Taylor as well. I don't like him or Moss against the Saints too. They have a good run D still. I'm Tyrod Taylor and Saquon. I'm downgrading him against the Jets. They're coming off a bye, nice and healthy. They have a good D too. Their D is going to be legit against them. I don't like that matchup as well. I don't like the Seahawks either. I agree with you on that one. I don't like Geno or the running backs against that tough Cleveland D. Their D has been stepping up this year. Cardinals, I don't like any of the Cardinals players. I don't like Dobbs or Brown against the tough Ravens D. They've actually looked pretty good the last couple of weeks on defense there. Broncos, Russell Wilson, I don't like him or Sutton or Juddy against the Chiefs. Even though they're playing at Denver, I still don't like that matchup for them. Chiefs have a good defense. Chris Jones, too, rushing the passer. Bengals, I'm downgrading them, actually. The 49ers have a better D than anyone, one of the best Ds in the league. I think a top 5 D. And the Bengals have struggled this year on and off. So I'm downgrading Burrow and Chase, actually, this week against the 49ers as well. I don't like that matchup for them as well.
All right, good stuff, man. That brings us to our nasty sleeper. Dave, I'm going to go with MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling versus Denver's defense. I think he's going to kill him deep because Denver's secondary is terrible, and that's where they can actually take advantage on Denver. Plus, Denver's guy just got a 4-game suspension for that massive hit. So that just weakens that secondary up even more. I think MVS has another touchdown or two. He's my nasty sleeper of the week.
All right, my nasty sleeper of the week is going against a poor, crappy team as well, and their defense is just as bad, which is the Bears. I'm going with Josh Palmer as my D-nasty.
I think you picked on the Bears every single week since they lost the first game.
I'm going with Josh Palmer, though. He's my D-nasty sleeper of the week. Is Josh Palmer, a wide receiver for the Chargers?
Well, he was one of my non-stars trending up, so I guess you have some agreement with me there too, unfortunately. But until the Bears fix that, it's an ugly mess sometimes. They did get a nice pick 6 against Aiden O'Connell, though. That was fun. It's either that or Hoyer. Can't remember if Aiden was in it. But anyways, huge thanks to you guys coming in. Andrew, Dylan, Sheflanabi, I'm not sure what your real name is, but thanks for coming in, guys, and asking us. And we do some random times on Monday, and when daylight saving times comes on, I think we're probably going to do 9 Mountain, 10 Central, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. We'll probably do something more like that. So that's about 2 weeks from now. We'll have that. But anything else we missed, Dave?
No, keep the questions coming in. I like the questions. It's fun talking about the trades and the different scenarios too, and the IDP stuff. I like talking about IDP stuff. I know we don't do that a lot on here, but we have an IDP in a lot of my leagues, so I definitely am more than happy to discuss IDP players as well.
Yeah, me too. Sounds great. Well, hey, if you guys have any questions, you know where to find us at the Oddsbreakers and at info@theoddsbreakers.com. Have a great rest of your week and go get some winners.